נחמן ממנו, נחman ממנו, sipurei masios, the 8th story. נחman ממנו, tale 8, the rabbi and his only son. 8 tale, there was once a rabbi who had no children. Later he had an only son, and he raised the man, made him a wedding. The son would sit in an attic room and learn how you study. As is the way with the wealthy, he would study and pray constantly, except that he felt in himself that he's lacking due to some deficiency, but did not know what. And he had the taste in his learning and praying. He told this to 2 young people, and they advised that he should travel to a certain side. Now the son had done a mitzvah through which he had come to the aspect of the small luminary. The only son went and told his father, in as much as it feels no taste in his service, in other words, in his serving God, that is praying, learning, and other mitzvahs, and it's lacking. And it's lacking for him, but he doesn't know what. Therefore he went that he wants to travel to the side whom they had told him about that above. His father asked him, how can you travel to him? You are after all more of a scholar than he, and more pedigree than he. It doesn't suit you to travel to him. Desist from this way until the father thus prevented him from traveling to the side. The son returned to his learning, and again he felt the deficiency as mentioned above, and again he took counsel with those young people. Again they gave him the advice that he should travel to the tzaddik. Again he went to his father, and again his father diverted him and prevented him. Thus it happened several times, and the son kept feeling that he is lacking something, and he greatly wanted to feel his lack. In other words, he should make corrections or something so that he should not be lacking. But he did not know what the lack is. As mentioned earlier, he went yet again to his father and implored him a great deal, until his father had to travel with him. For the father did not want to let him travel alone, since he was an only son for him. So the father said to him, look, I will go with you. I'll show you that he's nothing at all. In other words, that the tzaddik is nothing. They harnessed the carriage and set out. The father said to his son, with this I will make a test. If everything goes orderly, it is from heaven, and if not, it is not from heaven. That we should travel and we will return. They set out, then they reached a small bridge, and a horse fell, and the carriage turned over, and they nearly drowned. His father said to him, you see that it's not going orderly, and the journey is not from heaven. They returned. Again the son returned to his studies, and again he saw that something is lacking, and he does not know what. Again he implored his father as above, and his father had to once again travel with him. As they were traveling, his father again sets up a test that before, if it goes orderly, then etc. As mentioned, as they were traveling, both axles broke. His father said to him, see that things are not going so that things are not going so that we should travel for. Is it a natural occurrence that both axles should break? How many times we have traveled with this carriage, and such a thing has never happened? Again they returned, and the son returned to his learning, and so forth as above. And again he felt the deficiency as mentioned earlier, and the young people advised him to make the journey. Again the only son went to his father, and again pressed the man, and again pressed him. Once again he had to travel with him. The only son said to the father that we should no longer set up such a test. For this is a natural occurrence, that sometimes a horse falls or axles can break, unless it would be something very wild. They traveled and came to an inn to spend the night. They met a merchant there, and they began to talk with him, as merchants are wont to, not telling him that they are going there to one good Jew. But the rabbi was embarrassed to say that he is traveling to the good Jew. So they were speaking worldly things until in the conversation they began to talk about good Jews, Hebrew tzaddikim, where tzaddikim are found. He, the merchant, told him that there in a certain place there is a tzaddik, and there they began to speak about the tzaddik whom they are traveling to. The merchant answered them, that person, in an expression of amazement. He is plainly a cow, literally life. In other words, not at all an earnest Jew. Just now I am traveling from him. I was there when he did a transgression. The father spoke up to the only son, you see my son, what this merchant is telling us innocently. In other words, he is not intending trash talk. You speak evil of the tzaddik, only through the conversation did he tell it. Look, he's coming from there, he's coming from there, they returned home. That is the father and the only son. The son died and appeared in a dream to his father, and his father saw him standing in great anger. His father asked him, why are you so angry? He answered him, that is the son who is dead. Answered his father in the dream, that he should travel to that tzaddik, that he should travel to that tzaddik whom they had wanted to travel to, and he will tell you why I am angry. He awoke and thought to himself, it's a chance occurrence. In other words, just a dream, not any truth. Afterwards he dreamed the same again, the same dream again and again, the same. And afterwards he dreamed the same again and again. He thought it's a false dream, and so it happened 3 times. He understood that this is no empty thing, and he traveled there. That is the rabbi. That is the rabbi. Traveled to the tzaddik whom he had previously traveled toward. With the son. On the way he again encountered the merchant whom he had previously encountered when he traveled with the son. And the rabbi recognized him, and the rabbi said to the merchant, aren't you the one I saw at that inn? He answered him, certainly you saw me, and opened up his mouth and says to him, if you want, I'll just devour you now. He says to him, that is the rabbi to the merchant, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? He answered him, do you remember when you traveled with the son, and initially a horse fell down on the bridge, and you returned when then the axles broke? Then you met me and I told you that he is a light one. No, now that I have exterminated your son, now you may travel, for your son was an aspect of the smaller luminary, and that tzaddik whom he wanted to travel to is an aspect of the greater luminary. And if they both would have assembled together, Mashiach, Messiah, would have come. And now that I have exterminated him, you are permitted to go. And in the midst of speaking he disappeared. In other words, the merchant vanished suddenly while talking, and he didn't have room to talk with. The rabbi traveled to the tzaddik and cried, whoa, whoa, what a loss in the perished and no longer present. What a loss in the perished and no longer present. Woe for the one who has become lost and cannot be found. Hebrew only, Hashem Yisbarach, return our exiled one soon, amen. Hebrew only, Hashem Yisbarach, blessed God, return our exiled one soon, amen. נחman, those following the story, and the merchant was the Samach man, the evil accuser himself, who disguised himself evil to Satan himself, who disguised himself as a merchant and deceived them. And then when he met the rabbi the second time, he met the rabbi the second time, he himself teased him for having followed him. Such is the way of the Yetzirah, evil inclination. Initially he incites a person, and when the person follows him, heaven forbid, he himself teases the person afterwards, and personally takes vengeance upon him for having followed him. Hashem Yisborach, blessed God, save us from him and return us to the right truth, amen. The 9th story. Once there was 2 homes, there were two homeowners in the city, and they had great wealth and large houses. 2 homeowners had 2 sons, that is, each of them had a son, and the 2 children lived together in the same schoolhouse. One of them was a chacham, clever, smart, sophisticated, wise, and the other was a calm, simple, innocent, artless, wholesome.